Hello and welcome to Career Transitions 101. This tape is for those of you who were not able to make our in-person sessions during the last week of August. We just want to spend some time to make sure that everybody understands what it is that Career Transitions is trying to get done this year and what services we'll be providing or attempting to provide in light of COVID. As you all know, we are in the process of figuring things out just like you are. We're all in that same boat. So yeah, hopefully this presentation will help give you an idea of what career supports Career Transitions will be lending you this year. Just a quick note about what career development is. So here's a quote from the Canadian Career Development Foundation. It states that career development is the lifelong process of managing learning, work, leisure, and transitions in order to move forward towards a personally determined and evolving preferred future. There's a couple of key notes in this quote. First thing is the two statements about lifelong process and evolving preferred future. We need to remember that career pathways are not linear. One starting point is rarely going to be where they end up. So it's very important when we're talking with our students that we make sure that they understand that they're not deciding their entire future right now. Career development is also about teaching people and students to be resilient, so being able to adjust to changes out of our control and those that are in our control. Obviously, right now our students are learning resiliency in spades because there is so much uncertainty in their lives. Finally, we need to recognize that students in your classroom will likely be working in occupations that haven't even been invented yet. So especially your younger students, like your grade 10 students, there are so many new and evolving careers that are coming through. We need them to learn to be flexible and to explore what their passions and interests are and allow that to lead them through various career pathways. The second point is that career development goes beyond choosing an occupation. It includes learning, work, leisure. So how do we help students to build a life for themselves? So career development programs and events are about gaining an awareness of occupational options and comparing how those options might line up with your personal values, interests, and personality traits, etc. Now, Judy wrote this very nice script for me. If you are looking for more information specific to career development, please give her a call directly. She is your local career development guru. So really quickly, just information about who Career Transitions are. We were created in 1998, and we're currently partnered with 7 Southwest school divisions. So Holy Spirit, Horizon, Kai and I, Lethbridge 51, Livingston Range, Palliser, West Winds, plus a handful of separate schools. There are schools that we work with, which encompass about 10,000 students in our region. Career Transitions is a bit of an anomaly. We are the only organization like us in all of Alberta, and so we're very fortunate to be here, but also it does sometimes create challenges around funding, which we can talk about in a little while. We average touches of about 2,500 to 3,000 students each year, either attending or participating in Career Transitions events. Some of those students are duplicated, so a student will participate in multiple events and they get counted each time that they do something with us. This year, our staff consists of just Judy and I, but we do have 2 subcontractors. We've got Mia, who works with our social media, and then also Nadia, who steps in and helps with any event support that we need to do. We do have video on our YouTube channel that's a year in review, and if you want to check it out, this is what it looks like. Okay, so really quickly about what Career Transitions does and does not do. So we are not a one-on-one service provider. Our funding is based on service delivery to larger groups. So we will be organizing larger events. So we have the ability to organize events in such a way or on a scale that individual teachers or schools just don't have the capacity to do so. We are looking to be responsive to the needs of schools, especially as your resources are limited, but we can only do so much for free. We continue to look to build our capacity around staffing and funding in order to provide support for your efforts with students around career development and exploration opportunities. We do not provide any one-on-one services to students or conduct any workshops or other comm-related subject matter that doesn't fall within our funding model. As we are looking forward towards programming this year, we know that Alberta Health Services and Alberta Ed will have protocols in place. We also have discovered that even though the protocols have come down, different school divisions and then beyond that individual schools have interpreted those protocols differently. So we are in contact with all of the schools to find out what their specific protocols are, and we're going to do our best to follow the various interpretations whenever possible so that we can cover the most students whenever we do host events. So just quickly, information about how Career Transitions is funded. About a quarter of our funding requirements come directly from the school divisions. So each school division pays on a per student basis each year, but that does only make about a quarter of our funding. We do have people who donate money to us, so private and corporate donations. We are a charity, so as such, we are able to issue tax receipts. So if yourself or someone you know feels strongly about what Career Transitions does and wants to help ensure that we are around in the future, please encourage people to donate. The donate button is right on our website on every single page. It's on most of our emails. So yes, we thank everybody who are able to donate to us. Additionally, we in the past have received government funding, so government grants. This has actually dried up over the last 3 or 4 years, and so we have actually had a huge gap in our funding because government funds, specifically from the provincial government, used to total at least a third of our overall funding budget, and now that is gone. So we continue to work to fill that until we can convince the government that careers and youth employment are important again, and then we will hopefully be able to get some more government funding back. Finally, we do apply for various grants and foundations. Sometimes you'll notice that we will mention a program that we're hoping to run and then it changes. It looks a little different. The reason being is it takes a long time sometimes for these foundations and grants to come through. So we will apply for money from a grant or a foundation with the intent of hosting or providing a service in a certain way. And then it gets changed either by the granting organization, or maybe they change what they want the deliverables to look like or whatever. So then we do need to alter that, okay? Another side note is based on research that we've completed, talking to parents and teachers and the superintendents at the schools or in the school divisions. We know that parents and schools may consider paying for certain programs and services. This would be a last resort, but we do have that kind of in the background. As we go through all of the services Career Transitions provides, I will make a note of which ones fall under that potential category of becoming a fee-for-service type of an event. Okay, so really quickly running through the events and what they traditionally have looked like and what we hope they will look like this year. So Postsecondary Fair was a chance for students and parents to have discussions with recruiters from a wide variety of post-secondary institutions regarding life after high school. So traditionally, we've partnered with ELA, which is the Educational Liaison Association of Alberta. We would host this event at a school with exhibitors at the various booths. It would be an open event with no registration required, where students and parents could come and go as they desired, talking to the exhibitors that they were interested in. Sometimes we would also organize presentations around post-secondary planning, scholarships, student finance, what to expect as a new student, etc. Once again, there is a promotional video on our YouTube channel if you want to take a look at what this has looked like in the past. So now with COVID, ELA is still providing a virtual event that is being done completely separate from Career Transitions. In order to participate at a virtual event, a school needs to register with ELA, and then they will get a link for that specific date. October 8th is the date that the Southern Alberta actually has been designated. However, there's about 7 other dates that are open to all regions, and they run starting this week in September all the way through till the end of November, and there are wait lists available. So if you have students who are interested in attending the ELA event, you do need to register your school so that they can get a link. If you need more information about that, please just contact us and we'll ensure you get connected with ELA. Career Transitions is currently also considering doing a non-ELA event this fall. So in the past, we would host our Career Transitions event with ELA being our base, and then we would open it up to out-of-province and vocational schools, things like One Beauty or the Southern Alberta Institute of Massage. And allow them to come to our event as well. So we don't want students to miss out on those opportunities. So we are investigating a way to host a non-ELA event at the end of October. We're also considering doing another modified spring fair as well, which would be ELA and non-ELA. We're just really trying to make sure that the students are getting the information that they're interested in. We will be making our decision on the spring event by the end of February, and any information that we have would be sent out directly to you. Okay, the next program that we've run in the past are job shadow in, we used to call them career exploration groups or days. So job shadow was an individual placement where a student would let us know an occupation that they were interested in, and we would place them there for a half day to a full day. The career exploration groups were larger groups of students, and instead of them going into a workplace, we would bring those professionals to our room, and they would have a discussion with the kids about their occupation. The reason we did career exploration days it was twofold. We do have some occupations that present confidentiality or liability issues, which makes it really challenging to coordinate the individual job placements. So basically anything in health, specifically, you know, your doctor, your nurse, x-ray, that kind of deal. Also, where there may be a crossover between occupations. So law enforcement, for instance, which could be, you know, RCMP, it could be city police, it could be border patrol, it could be corrections. So we would bring together a group of people so that students could see what the overlap is between those. The other reason we would host career exploration groups is sometimes we have really popular occupations that we just simply do not have enough hosts to host individual job shadows. And so because of that limitation, we would just provide it as a group. Okay. So traditionally we would run these in the fall, like October and November, and then also in the spring in April and May. One quick note, the job shadow and career exploration days is something that could be a fee-for-service program going forward, as it was identified as the number one event that parents would be, parents specifically would be interested in paying for if necessary. Once again, there is a nice video about job shadow on our YouTube channel. Okay, as far as COVID goes, obviously job shadow, individual job shadows is a no-go under stage 2. Having said that, we also do not have funding to run individual job shadows. Having said that, though, we are still working on various career exploration days and also offering them outside of what our traditional career exploration days used to look like, insofar as not just looking at things like doctor and nurse and x-ray and law enforcement and engineering and those, but going to those very popular traditional job shadow placements, we are looking at trying to host those as career exploration days. We already have a subcontractor who is working on these career exploration sessions, and so we are committed to hosting them. And we're going to run them whenever we can get a host to host us. So they will be starting in October and will run throughout the year. All are going to be virtual. And basically the hosts will be presented with a very specific lesson plan template that they need to follow. We will send a videographer into their workplace where they can video what the occupation actually looks like on on a hands-on day-to-day basis, and then we'll intersperse those videos throughout the sessions when the students are online with the host. Students will be able to ask questions after, and the host will be around to answer those questions. They're all going to be recorded and then will be posted on our Career Transitions website. We currently do not foresee having any registration limitations for most of the groups, and students can register themselves. They don't have to register through the school. So a big difference between the traditional manner and what we're doing now is that there's no paperwork. So yeah, that registration can be done directly by the student, and they can engage that way. We will not be running these through the school day, which is when we traditionally did them. They will be delivered after school, either 3:30 to 5 or 4 till 5:30. Once again, we do recognize that for some of our rural students who are on buses, this may be difficult for them to attend. However, having said that, we will be taping them as mentioned. Of course, there's an advantage to participating in person in that you can then go and ask the questions of the host at that time. But this is about the only time that we figured out we can actually get students engaged without really causing our hosts a lot of extra work. Okay, so if you have any suggestions, or you're hearing your students talking about certain occupations that you really think would be great to be highlighted, please send us an email and we will do our best to work on getting those done. Also, as the dates come available, they will be posted on our website and we will be sending emails out. So expect to see those coming through. Okay, Carper Boat Race. It's an opportunity for students to build and race a boat entirely designed by them and made out of cardboard. It by far is our most popular event. And it's actually Career Transitions' first opportunity for junior high and middle school students to participate in a Career Transitions event. We do find that if we get them once, they want to participate again in other Career Transitions events. So it's a really, really important marketing event for Career Transitions. It's also an excellent partnership opportunity with the University of Lethbridge in that it gets a whole bunch of students on campus exploring. They can see what the campus looks like. Curriculum-wise, obviously there's a tie into math and science. Okay, as far as traditionally, we had 50 teams, which is 200 students build on the track. They'd have lunch together and then they'd race in the pool, cheering each other on and everything like that. We have always had teams on a wait list. We've never been able to fulfill all of our requests for our subscribed schools. So it is, like I said, just a very, very popular event with us. Also, traditionally, it's been done in conjunction with Let's Talk Science. So what that meant is that we would run another program on the same day with Let's Talk Science. So last year we had 140 students come on campus to participate in a climate change symposium, which is great for rural schools who are bringing in buses. If we can get more kids on those buses, that's a win-win for you guys. In discussions about that, prior to COVID, we were talking about actually trying to see if we could engage other departments at the university as well, where they would offer an exploration day on the same day as Carper Boat Race, and we would just flood the university campus with junior and high school students. So we are still working towards that, but of course COVID has kind of put a bit of a dent in that for now. Once again, there is a video online that you can see the Carper Boat Race fun, so that's on our YouTube channel. Okay, as far as the KOVA Changes with Carper Boat Race, the University of Lethbridge has the final say on if this happens or not, and we're still waiting for that decision. We have gone and sent in a proposal to the university in how we would like to set this up. We would be looking at having the racers broke into 3 groups to have staggered builds and races. So basically one group would come on, register, build, and go race. And as soon as they go to race, we would have another group come in, register to build, and then they go race. And then the third group would come in as the second group is racing, and they would build and then race. And as soon as you're done racing, you would leave the campus. And then we would do the award ceremony virtually the next day. Okay. If we get okay for this, it will be in the spring, so in April or May. So we're really hoping that things with COVID have kind of calmed down, and we are able to do this event. This as well is one of those events that we're looking at for a fee-for-service event, but more around trying to gain team sponsorship. So if you have a team that's entered, we would be encouraging you to see if your students could get a sponsor for their boat, for instance, and we would look at what that sponsorship would look like. Our decision deadline for if this is going to happen or not is January 15th. Reason being is I need time to order the cardboard, and so yeah, we'll be following closely with the university and get any information out to you as soon as possible if it's a go. Okay. Next is the Skills Discovery Day. What this is it's a non-threatening introduction to the regional skills competition. We would allow students to come to the college campus and explore skills-related college labs and rooms. They would have an opportunity to learn about what the skills competition is about and what it's looked like in the past. So traditionally, students would choose 3 skills areas to explore throughout the day, and then as a large group, we would meet and talk about the skills movement. We currently have this date as tagged as December 15th, but the college has the final say on this, and so we're not sure yet. If we are able to host it with COVID, what our changes would include is that we would be using cohort groups with a maximum of 6 in each group that would be kept together all day. We would keep them in school cohorts wherever possible, and really I think that needs to be happening. And then they would register as a group for 2 skills areas plus a college tour kind of a deal. We will be making our decision on this by October the 15th, but like I said, for sure it's directed purely by the college if we host this. Okay, EPIC is our next event, another very, very popular event. It's currently slated for February the 10th, and basically, traditionally what this was is there'd be up to 600 students who would attend, and we would have up to 100 occupations divided into 4 sectors of health, STEM, environment and agriculture, and trades. Students would register into one of the 4 sectors, and they would participate in 6 we call it forced engagement. So the students would commit to sitting at a booth for 20 minutes, and then there'd be a reset time and they'd move on. In the afternoon, after we fed them lunch, it would be an open career fair. So the students could go into any of the 4 sectors and check out occupations in all of the sectors. Once again, there's a really fun video on our YouTube channel about EPIC. Okay, as far as COVID changes go, if we're able to do this, it's going to change drastically. So the focus is going to be on broad exploration instead of focused exploration. So really moving away from making students choose one of those 4 sectors, but more having those students choose to come to explore a variety of occupations. The way we would organize this is schools would cohort groups of 6 students, and those 6 students would then rotate through 3 or 4 occupations that would be set ahead of time. So they'd be in these little clusters just to limit the exposure, and if we ever had to do contact tracing, to make it manageable. There would be no open career fair, and as a result, then we wouldn't be feeding the kids lunch. So there would be a separate morning and a separate afternoon group, which on the positive side means that we potentially could actually have more kids come, which is kind of cool. So once again, I can't stress enough that we will be targeting those kids that are really interested in exploring, not those kids that say, I think I want to be a welder. Okay. We really need those kids to not know and to come with an open mind to try. So obviously, probably a lot more grade 10s and 11s and not so many grade 12s. The ultimate goal with epic this year is that we will be 100% compliant with any Alberta health safety protocols. So as you are starting to talk to students about this event, please, please, please communicate the changes to the students, especially those who are interested in coming again or who have had friends or family members who have come before, because we don't want students upset when they arrive and it looks totally different. Just on a side note too, our Conic Foundation is our primary funder for this event. And obviously because we're changing the way we're doing it, we need ultimate acceptance from them. They have the final say on what that delivery model might look like. So we are working through that. As far as the decision deadline, we are really planning on doing this. Like we are working forward on it, and we have optimism that things with COVID will have settled down a bit, and that some of the, the field trip restrictions and things like that will be lessened. So we will be deciding and communicating by December the 15th what the mode of delivery will look like. So you will have a more clear understanding of what those clusters will look like with the cohorts moving through it and things like that. Okay. That's it for that. So with the Ironworking program, there is a video on our YouTube channel that really shows well what the program was about. Basically, it was a 10-week training program with a competitive entry where students had to submit an application with a resume, and they had to go through an interview process, and they could participate in this 10-week program and gain between 15 and 20 credits. The program was supported and ran by Ironworkers Local 725. With COVID changes, there will not be a 10-week program this year. We're very, very sad about that. Having said that, Ironworkers Local 725 are still considering what they have for resources and how they could continue to provide some sort of experience for the students in the Southwest. So one consideration is that they're looking to provide mobile training to select schools. We have no idea yet what that will look like. So as far as the decision deadline, as soon as we know, we will let you know. Okay. This is purely sitting with the Ironworkers Local 725 on what resources they have and can deliver. Okay, our final event that we host is the Southwest Regional Skills Competition. It's currently slated for March the 27th. Once again, there is a really great video online. This is actually a video made by a competitor from a few years ago in the video production competition. So the skills competition is it's an opportunity for students in 13 different competition areas to go to the college and demonstrate their knowledge in their particular order or in their particular area based on a contest description. So they have a list of tasks or a project that they need to make, and they spend the day doing that. It's all timed. It's very exciting, very, very, very cool. With COVID, so with this event, I should say, Skills Alberta makes the final decision on it. At this point, the virtual competition is what they think will be going on, both for the regionals and provincial competitions. Now, the good news is that Skills Alberta actually hosted provincials last year as a virtual competition. So they have a little bit of experience on what this could look like and should look like and what changes need to be made. The other good thing with the regional is if things all of a sudden open up, Career Transitions is in a position that we can very quickly and fairly easily switch from a virtual competition to an in-person competition. So of course we've got fingers crossed that would happen, but it's not our decision. Okay. As far as the decision deadline, we don't know. I am going to be meeting with Skills Alberta here in the next 3 weeks and hoping that there will be a little bit more direction, and we will ensure to get that information out to you as soon as we can. Okay, as I mentioned at the beginning, Judy and I are always looking for additional programming considerations. One of the things Judy's working on is potential to work with ELA members to coordinate their post-secondary visits to the school, and that could be those virtual visits, and just making sure that the post-secondary institutions are getting in touch with the right people. We also have a couple other things in our back pocket, but we're not going to share them. We want to be a great surprise if we're able to get some of these things together. So continue to watch for emails from us. Okay. That's all I've got for you right now. As things change, as things get confirmed, rest assured we will be sending information out to the people who need to have that information. About how to roll anything out, we would love to hear from you. We're only a phone call or an email away. So thank you very much for your time.